Hello, and thank you for joining us for this World Council of Credit Unions virtual event, Marketing with More. My name is Greg Newman, Director of Communications for World Council. In this webinar, Kelly Lanes of Fuze the Agency will explore a dynamic approach to modern marketing that emphasizes the power of meaningful connections and measurable success through more, a comprehensive framework designed to elevate your brand and create lasting impact. Throughout this session, Kelly will delve into strategies for maximizing your brand's reach and ensure that your message resonates with a wider audience. She'll also give you the practical tools and insights to implement the more approach in your marketing efforts, helping you achieve greater flexibility, visibility, deeper connections, and measurable success. Just a note, this presentation is being recorded today and it's going to be available later this afternoon on the World Council YouTube channel. Let's now welcome in Kelly Lanes, co-CEO of Fuze the Agency, a marketing firm dedicated to helping mission-driven businesses elevate their brands to amplify their impact. I can tell you, Kelly gave one of the more engaging breakout session presentations at our 2024 World Credit Union Conference in Boston in July, and I'm excited to hear what she has in store for us today. Kelly, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. And I don't want to waste any time, so let's dive right in. We are going to be doing not only me talking at you for a few minutes here, but I like to engage with you guys. So blow up the chat. Let me know where you're from. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. So thank you so much. So let's dive right in. Imagine this. You wake up, you go through your normal morning routine, you help the kiddos get ready for school. Shout out to all the parents out there. You're all superheroes. And you get everyone ready with their backpacks, you get everyone ready with their books, and you get in the car. Normal morning routine. But all of a sudden, something feels off. You're putting the key in the ignition and it's not turning over. You're trying to turn on the radio to your favorite radio station and it's not working. You're trying to move all of your shifters and those aren't working either. And you think to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to go over and over and over again. We're going to hit the steering wheel a few times. We're going to hit the same buttons a million times, hoping for a different result. And at some point, you wiggle your nose thinking, you know what? Maybe there's some magic in me. Maybe I can recite some spells from Harry Potter that I remember and the car will start. It takes you a good 10 minutes of hitting all the buttons, trying to wiggle your nose to realize, you know what, maybe we should get out of the car and try something new. Now, you're probably thinking, Kelly, why would I do that? Why would I sit in the car? Why would I hit the same buttons over and over again if it's not working? Well, that's how most people in my many years of experience in marketing approach their marketing. They will try the same things over and over and over again in hopes that they'll either get a different result or it'll just stick this time. Now, I'm here today to help you make more of your marketing. And the reality about marketing is that it's not about luck. It's not about wishful thinking. It's not about wiggling your nose or reciting spells. It's about that deliberate action that you're taking. It's about understanding your goals better. And it's about focusing on the right things to achieve your goals. So who am I? Greg, thank you again for introing me. I'm Kelly Lanes. I start every day with a giant cup of coffee. To all my coffee lovers in the audience, put your favorite coffee order in the chat so I can see where we level up next to each other. But I also had the greatest privilege to speak alongside many other humans within the credit union industry at the World Credit Union Conference this year. So I'm blessed to have that. The photo that you see of me on the bottom was me actually working in the credit union industry. So I was there for a couple of years. And so I get it. I hear you. And I really understand the struggles here. So as a marketing professional by trade, I'm here to support you. So what is more? Greg mentioned it. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but what is that? More is metrics, online presence, research, and then expansion. But I guess the real question is, why should you care about this? Maybe you're running a multi-million-dollar credit union and you're like, Kelly, this isn't that important. This isn't that important to me and I don't want to care about it today. Well, maybe think about it from a different lens. Don't think about it even from your credit union. Maybe think about it as you as a consumer, because every business, every e-commerce business specifically, and every in-person shopping experience within the next couple months through October, November, December are going to be marketing and selling like crazy. So maybe after hearing what I have to say today, you'll start seeing some of those marketing strategies that they are using and seeing how they're really affecting you or your family or even your buying decisions. Marketing is really about not just selling. It's about building those relationships. It's about earning that trust. And it's about creating those really meaningful connections that last a lifetime. And I'm here to help you make more of that. So jumping right in, M is for metrics. Now, when you hear the word metric, do you do one of these? Do you get a little clammy? Are you a little stressed? That used to be me until I knew that they could sound scary, but they don't have to be scary. So bear with me. Not all metrics are created equal. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit more, especially in your credit union world. It's easy to get distracted by those vanity metrics. And when I say vanity metrics, I mean how many likes a post is getting, how many followers you have on TikTok, how many email subscribers you have. Metrics are like the dashboard of your car. If it isn't turned on, if you don't know how fast you're going, if you don't have a GPS ready, you're completely lost. Let's say you have 10,000 followers on Instagram. Does that automatically mean that you're going to translate into credit union new member signups? No. And so we need to focus on the metrics that actually matter. So which ones should you actually focus on? The first one is your conversion rate, which is the percentage of website visitors who actually take an action. So it could be website visitors, but also if you have a marketing brand like me, that really could be social media visitors, that could be email, newsletter, readers. It's the percentage of humans that are taking the action that you want them to take. So it could be becoming a member. It could be applying for a loan. It could be signing up for your newsletter. Whatever your call to action is, if those people are converting, then those are your people. High conversion rate really, really indicates that what you are doing is working. And in my line of work, that means everything, because marketing is how you make someone feel about a brand. So if they feel so compelled to click on something, then you're doing it right. Here's an example. Let's say your credit union runs a campaign promoting new savings account product. You're directing traffic specifically to about 1,000 visitors and 50 people sign up for a new account. That conversion rate is 5%. On average, conversion rates are between 2.5 and 3%. So if you had a 5% conversion rate, that's amazing. Can you drop in the chat if any of you calculate conversion rate? Just either put a yes or a thumbs up. Because understanding this metric can really compel you into driving more action for people. And it can also tailor your marketing and tailor your messaging and really tailor what you're offering these people. Because again, marketing is about them. Amazing, John. Thank you so much. For the second metric that I like to talk about is customer acquisition cost. So this is the total cost of acquiring that new member. Let's say you're running a series of ads and those ads are going directly towards young professionals. You can calculate that total amount that you're spending on those ads, and then you can also divide that by the number of people that are actually joining. So if you're spending $500 on ads, but the average person coming in is only $400 a year, you might want to rethink your strategy. because it's not entirely supporting you in the way that it should. Instead, you can focus on that message so that you can lower the cost of those ads. You can shift the funds where it needs to go, and then you can really bring in those members that matter in a more cost-effective way. And we all want to do that. So for credit unions specifically, this metric is crucial because it is so hard to get new members. It's much easier to resell to current members, which leads me to the customer lifetime value. The estimates of this one is about the total amount of revenue that people are going to have for the total lifespan of them being part of your organization. So let's say a member is 10 years old and their parent comes in, they sign them up, and then they get a new checking account. They're starting to learn about loans. They're starting to learn about savings. They're starting to learn about what a credit card means. And then you realize that when they turn 16, they're going to want a car loan. And when they're 25, they're getting engaged and they want to get married and they need a mortgage. Or maybe they need a personal loan, or maybe they need a business loan, but they're going to stick with you. And that has everything to do with your customer service within your branch, but then also how they are loved on throughout their whole process of their value or their lifetime value with you. So let's say you have a new member and they open a checking account. Like I was saying earlier, 70% of those people are more likely to take out a loan within 3 years than someone that is brand new. So think about nurturing those people differently, because the customer that comes in is often a customer for a really long time. And you want to make sure that you can keep on loving on them, because the more you love on them, the more they want to love on you. That's just life. And here, last but certainly not least, is the return on investment. This measures the profitability, right? So it tells you how much revenue you're generating, and it really shares how much every single dollar that you spend on marketing, that you spend with a marketing consultant, that you spend on ads, that you spend just paying a social media expert, how much that is actually converting for you. So if you're spending $1,000 for a sponsorship and it results in 20 new members, let's say those members bring in $200 annually. Doing the math, it actually has not only recouped your investment, but also created a new steady stream of income, which is incredible. And then those members will stay for years to come. I want to go through a little example with you. So in this scenario, you decide that you want to increase the number of new accounts. And so you're promoting seminars, you're promoting financial products, you're promoting loans, and you want to position that through different financial education seminars. So you sit down with your team, you have a strategy, which includes you're going to do free financial literacy workshops. You're going to build community. You want to focus on topics like budgeting, saving for retirement, managing the debt that you already have, and maybe even adding in some extra things like buying a home or getting an auto loan. You promote this through multiple channels, and you also use your current social medias, your partnerships, and local community guides. So looking at the cost breakdown, let's say you have this event at your own credit union, okay? So you don't have to spend any money there, but you want to wine and dine them a little bit. So the cost of venue and refreshments is $2,000. Marketing and promo is $1,500, and then speaker fees and materials to pass out and to hand out to people so they have something tangible. That cost total is $4,000. Now, let's say 200 members of your community show up. You not only have 200 members show up, you get to love on these 200 members. That turns into conversions. That turns into you being able to be in front of them, cross-selling different things that happen at your credit union. And that also leads to loyalty. So for all of the math people in the audience, I wanted to run the numbers tactically so you can kind of see how this turns out. So let's say you have 20 new members and it's $1,000 on average that they're depositing. That's $20,000. Let's say there's cross-sells, right? So 5 of the new members bought into the cross-sell average. Long-term, 10 of those members that were there put $2,500 in profit year over year. So that's a long-term revenue investment. So the total profit actually generated was $46,000, okay? But if you remember, the total cost of said events that you're putting on was only $4,000. So doing the ROI, you actually made over 1,000% ROI. Is there anyone out there that actually hosts seminars, hosts webinars, even like this, for your local community and really love on them? Drop that in the chat because I'm curious to know. And I'm curious to know how accurate my numbers are, because I hope and I really hope for you guys that if you are running events like this, that they are really serving the community, because people love people and people buy from people. So the more you can get in front of people and love on them, the more they'll want to be back. So I want to do another example for those of you in the room who maybe you don't work at a credit union, but maybe you support credit union. So here's just another example on, let's say you were an operations consultant. Like I'm a marketing consultant, maybe you are an operations consultant. So you're coming in with a special technology and ops background, so you can really, really serve the credit unions at hand. And what you want to do is you want to focus on improving the digital banking back end systems, their back office operations. And honestly, you want to make sure the goal of the credit union is being met. So you're reducing costs and you're enhancing new member experiences. The cost breakdown for you looks a little bit different because it is more service-based. So the research, the implementation costs, and the training, all of that gets to about $25,000, which for you as a consultant agency could seem like a large chunk of money. However, the ROI is second to none, because with what you're doing, what you're offering, how you're loving on that credit union, you're actually saving them $350,000 a year. So imagine that ROI is 1,300% ROI, and that credit union will stay with you for life because you're able to provide that service, provide that value, and love on them in ways that they really, really need. So long story short, if you've completely glossed over the metrics section, come back to me. I just want to make sure that you're focusing on the right metrics, the actionable metrics, because then you can make smarter decisions. You can make data-driven decisions. And if you were, let's say you're out there and you're struggling with stagnant growth with memberships, maybe it's time to really re-up that strategy. Shift your focus a little bit on those conversion rates or the client acquisition costs, and see how you can really make that work better for you and in tangent work better for the members. So don't get lost in the sea of likes. Get lost in the sea of members that are coming in. Number 2, online presence. Now, we all have an online presence, right? We all have one, but I'm here to tell you that in today's digital world, it's really not enough to just be online. It's not anymore. It's 2024. The banks up the street are spending hundreds of dollars a day on advertising and Google interactions and sponsorships. So maybe they're the ones that are coming up first. But here's how I can help you with that. With being part of a ever-evolving organization, I want you to think about having an online presence as like having your open 24/7. There are people in bed at night researching where the best credit union is in their area. You're not open at 2 a.m. when they're up doing this, but you need to be open online and you need to be active online. So the online presence is not only your website, but it's also social media profiles, it's online reviews, and SEO, search engine rankings. Because like I said, your branch is open 24/7, even if you're not physically open 24/7. So, okay, Kelly, I hear you. We need to have all of these things, but how do you strengthen them so they actually work for us? Let's dive into that. Number 1, we're going to optimize your website. It has to be extremely easy to navigate It has to make sure that all of the key information, like how to contact you, do you have any rates that they need to know about? Where are you and what is your phone number? You want to make sure that those things are the first things that people can click on. You want to use really clear call to actions. You want it to be mobile friendly because we all live on our phones these days. And you want to make sure that you regularly update, because providing that user experience that's seamless when they go to your website is really what's going to set you apart. Clear call to actions. Like, how many of you have a website that has a giant button at the top that says, contact us here, or come in for a free estimate, or join us today? And it brings them directly either to your phone number, a way to contact you, something like that, because people really, really want to be able to contact you. We live in such an online presence, but people still buy from people. So just remember that. Making sure things are regularly updated also helps fix bugs that you might not even know exist. And here are some fun blog posts and topics that you can call out on your website so that you can really call to what people are looking for, right? How to save for a down payment, how to get a car loan, how to open a savings account, understand your credit score. Think about it from the fact of when people come to your website, what do they want? What are they looking for? And why are you the ones to give it to them? Here's just a little example of a non-optimized website on the left, especially in mobile, and an optimized website on the right. Huge differences here. Yes, it's the same website. Sure, it functions. But if people have to zoom in to read what you have to offer, they're not going to. You'll lose people. 74% of online users will return to a website that's mobile friendly, because you want people to get there easy, quick, and into the branch, easy and quick. Okay. Let's talk social media. So social media isn't just a tool. It's really a way to be in front of people, to engage with people correctly. And what I love to say is you want to keep social media social. So socialize on social media. And that includes posting regularly. That includes creating content that really converts for you and that serves your audience the best. You want to share those success stories, highlight community engagement that you're in, and also share some valuable information that you guys are offering. One of my favorite things to do on social media, and one of the favorite things I love to see people do, is go live. Very similar to this. You could do 5 minutes on sharing a tip on how to get an auto loan today. And if someone saw that and they were really interested, they just learned something really valuable for you. And you could change the trajectory of how they are spending money in the future. Oh, hold on one second. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, everybody. I don't even know how you do that. See, sometimes I'm good with technology and other days I'm like, what did I just do? So apologies. We are back. Okay, appreciate you. So social media isn't just an opportunity to just post and even be social. It's really that opportunity, like I was trying to get at, is to be that thought leader, to be that outstanding organization that people want to see and learn from and grow into. Social media helps you build trust. It helps you build that authority. And it really helps you foster those relationships because it really brings out that social aspect that people are craving. The more you love on your audience, the more they'll love back on you. And that is in an in-person or an online experience. It's kind of like smiling at a stranger. You smile at a stranger, most likely they'll at least smile back. And smiles are contagious. So if I'm smiling at you, and hopefully you're smiling back at me, I just can't see you. But social media is meant to be kept social, and it's meant to be loved on, and it's meant to be nurtured, and it's meant to be engaged with. Because the more engagement you have, the more people will want to love back on your content. So here's a stat that I love from Sprout Social. 61.1% of Instagram users worldwide are actually between the ages of 18 and 34, and they're mainly male. And this is a stat that always surprises me, mainly because I'm a female and I am on Instagram. It's what I do for a job. But think about it from your perspective. Maybe you want to target 18 to 34 males in this stage that they are in their life, in this life cycle that they're in. Try making ads, try making content that can speak to this 61%. Okay, number 3 under the online presence bucket is managing online reviews. Put in the chat if you guys do that. This is a huge, huge one. One of my very first marketing jobs was as a social media manager, and this included managing online reviews. And what we used to do is, doesn't matter if it was a good review or a bad review, we commented with grace and ease and kindness to every single one. And then we also oftentimes asked them to email us their address, and we would send them a decal, or we would send them a postcard, or we'd send them a free hat, because we wanted to stand out even if it was a bad experience. Because online reviews are that new world of mouth. And it really, really, really is that time of seasonality that we're in, that most people will not buy something. They will not walk in somewhere without reading a review, at least one. So make sure you encourage members, especially members that you see often or members that have success stories, to go give reviews, because that's what people are reading, and people like to learn from other people. Like I was mentioning earlier, respond promptly and professionally, and acknowledge the complaints. Those are hard. I understand. But also, there are people behind a screen, just like you are, responding back. And no matter what their problem is, maybe you can at least give them some grace back. So as an example, member complaints about, let's say a member complains about a long wait time at a branch. Maybe there's 15 people in line. And you get to respond with thank you, and to show them that you're using that feedback in a positive way. Sometimes that all it takes is just a thank you to really change someone's idea about you and how to move forward. 90% of banking consumers say they use online reviews to make all of their banking decisions. That's a lot. I wouldn't even assume there's 10% of people that don't at this rate. So if you're out there and you are using online reviews correctly, and you're really, really loving on people, clearly it shows. So we're going to go back to SEO a little bit. I know it was part of optimizing your website, but it is a much bigger deal. So SEO is search engine optimization. And this really, really helps you become discoverable and lovable online, like I like to say. So think about what your consumers are looking for. When they open up Google, what do they Google? Like, do they Google, I want the best credit union for car loans near me? I need fast cash now? What are they Googling? And we'll get into that a little bit later, but knowing your customers and knowing where their brains are at and knowing their needs can help you really, really, really support them in the best way. And then you can add those words to your website or to your blog posts, so that when people are Googling best credit union for car loans, you're one of the ones that pop up. And I wanted to touch on local, because maybe you do have a really amazing online branch that could serve people all over the country or all over the world. But in case you don't, and you already serve your community so incredibly, make sure that you have your local name, your local address, the city multiple times on your website, so that that gets indexed in Google, and people that search local credit union in Seattle, which I search for, you will be the one that pops up. And it really makes a difference, because if people can't find you, they can't find you. Even if you're right down the road, they'll probably still Google it first. So keep that in mind. And everyone wants to be found, right? I wanted to show you this stat about 45.1% of all people go take action on something without it being sponsored, without it being an ad, without it being targeted to them, because people love that organic moment. So regardless if they're searching for best car loans near me, if they see things that are sponsored, they honestly might scroll past them and look for the first one that's at the top there. So keep that in mind, because SEO and organic search is still very, very relevant. What I love about having an online presence and by enhancing it and by loving on it is the fact that you get to reach those members and really, really support them by creating that engaging content that they want, by giving them member-focused things so that they feel loved, served, and valued. Because at the end of the day, it's all about them. You wouldn't be open if it wasn't about them. So the more you can make it seem like they are the most special things in the universe, because they are, the more you will thrive. So number 3 in the M.O.R.E framework is research. And this one is my favorite. That's literally me. Every time I get a new client, every time someone talks to me about research, I kind of go a little batty about it because I love it so much. This is, in my personal opinion, the most important part. Not only to me, but in general, research is the backbone of every successful marketing strategy, because it's not just about collecting that data, it's about gaining so many insights that you have at your disposal, and you get to love on those people. And it really isn't that hard, but some people just don't want to do it. And it's very similar to throwing the same content out over and over and over again and hoping it sticks as banging your head on the steering wheel when your car isn't running. Without that marketing research, you don't know what button to hit correctly at the right time to the right person in the right place. So you're basically making the perfect recipe for what your consumers need. Especially in your industry, building that trust and relationships is necessary. It's more than necessary. And understanding their needs, their preferences, their wants, their hopes, their desires will help you be able to set them up in the today, but then also in the future when they're looking for that home loan or they're looking for setting up a trust for their babies. There's so much that you could do to help them, even if it's starting with $1 today, because that's all they have. So I guess the question here is, how do you conduct research and how do you conduct effective research? Well, first off, anything that you can do to understand your members deeply is what you need to do. So the most successful credit unions and businesses in any facet know their members, know their consumers, know their potential consumers, and know their ideal consumers better than the consumers probably know themselves. That's why you start getting ads that are targeted specifically to things that you want around the holidays when it comes to things that you really want, because they know not only through data, but they know just from research and demographics, and then they continue learning from you. So think about it this way. You can conduct surveys, you can conduct focus groups. Put in the chat if any of you do that right now. Do you send out maybe quarterly surveys to your members on things that they're looking for, things that they want, how the last quarter has gone for them? And also, maybe you're about to launch a brand new service or a brand new product for them, and you want them to know. So you gauge their excitement. Would you be excited if we offered X, Y, and Z enhancement? Would you be excited if the interest rate went X, Y, or Z? You want to gauge their satisfaction and really understand what makes them tick so that you can identify how you can market better to them, how you can sell better to them, and really create products that are better for them. I love that. Thank you for those of you writing in the chat. I love that your marketing team does market research. That's incredible. I know a lot of people that do, and I also know a lot of people that don't. So even if you haven't, I have an example coming up here so you can see kind of how to do it in a very simple and tangible way. So maybe you discover that a huge portion of your membership are interested in retirement planning. And that's important. No matter what age you are, thinking about retirement is really valuable and really important. So how about you develop a seminar, you develop products, you develop other services so people can learn more about that and what that means to plan for retirement, even if they're 18 to 65. Okay, the second rung here is leveraging the data. So you can utilize the data you already have about your members to really track and see what their behavior is. Let's say you notice that most members that open a checking account apply for a loan within 6 months. You've tracked that, you have enough data to hear about that. That's amazing. Now you can take that information and market to those people. Market what that right next step is for them because you know them. And then they feel seen, heard, and valued because you know that information about them. My favorite part of research and marketing is that personalized touch. If you can personalize how you are gathering that data and then how you're marketing moving forward to them, even if it's as simple as adding a first name to an email newsletter, sometimes it's as easy as that for people to really get it and be really blessed that they're part of your credit union. Thirdly, competitive analysis. Understanding your competitors is very, very, very important. I wouldn't say it's more important than knowing your members, but probably second too. So knowing what your competitors are doing and aren't doing is invaluable. You can do that by analyzing what other people are doing, analyzing what other banks in your area are doing, and seeing how they're serving differently. Here are some questions. Feel free to screenshot or take this and run with it. But how are they promoting their products or services? Are they doing a video advertisement? Are they just putting a graphic out there? Maybe they're sending an email. Are they doing all of the above? Are they going door to door? What are they doing that's better or worse, in your opinion, from what you're doing? And how are they offering services to serve their community better or worse than what you're doing? And see who they're partnering with, because that could show what's coming for them in the future or what's valuable to them, or honestly, what makes them tick as an organization really depends on who they partner with as well. So you can identify all of the gaps in your competitive analysis because then you can adjust your strategy and you can show up better for your members and for your ideal members. Let's say right down the road, you have a huge bank and they're attracting young professionals because they want high yield savings accounts. Maybe launch a similar product, but offer something different, offer something extra, offer that personal touch so that those young professionals feel like opening a credit union account is more important to them and more valuable than it is opening at XYZ bank down the road. And lastly, on the research front, stay ahead of market trends. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about the new technologies that are coming out, the new regulations. You're all here to learn. WOCCU has webinars all the time, things that can help your further education. And there are other organizations that do too. You're here to learn and grow because you value your own education and you value evolving and learning. So stay on top of things like that, because the more you stay on top of it, the better ahead you can get with your members. Now, these are the trends that I'm trying to not tell you about, is the dancing on TikTok trends, or, the silly shimmy trends, but maybe that would serve your audience. So that's where market research comes in. Let's say there's a growing demand for digital banking solutions. You prioritize investments in your mobile app and online banking program. Amazing. But by staying ahead of those trends, you would already know that these are things that people need, and you can give it to them before they even know that they need it. And that not only shows that you care, but it really shows you as a leader in that innovation. So let's do another example on market research to really drive new product development. Let's say that at your credit union, you sent out a member survey and you realize that a large portion of your members are parents with young children. And these parents with young children want to do something for their future college education. So they want to open a fund, or they want to find something that can really support their kiddo moving forward. And you take that insight and you take that empathy, and maybe you also have done the same thing for your kids. And maybe you all sat down and realized, you know what? We could offer something with different interest rates. We could offer something with more flexible terms where they can get it taken out at that time. Maybe there's educational resources about saving for college or planning for college. Maybe there's even something as simple as writing some blog posts and putting some social media posts about it, so that people know that you care about this topic that is so dear to them. And the result is that people know that people value that you value them. And that is so important. And it could be something as simple as a blog post that adds to SEO to your website, that adds to someone Googling college savings fund for daughter, and you're the first one that pops up, and they realize that you're really serving people in the community like them. How special would that make them feel? You know that they would show up at your credit union and open an account immediately and bring in their daughter, so that they all can be in that educational moment together. So I want to take a few minutes and do this research activity. If you want to scan here on the QR code, I'll also put the link in the chat. This is an example of how to conduct research, because for me, I'll be able to see your results, so I'll be able to see what you're saying, but also take this and save it at the end, because then you'll know kind of where you gauge yourself on your own market research odometer. Maybe you realize that you aren't utilizing SEO. Maybe you realize that you're not engaging on social media. I'm going to give you a few minutes and we will do this activity so you can understand it, but I'm not gathering information from you. I'm not even gathering your name. For me, it's really just to see who participated and gauge where you guys are at when it comes to marketing and research. And thank you to those who are putting questions in the chat. We will get to them. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes. Market research could be as easy as creating a form like this for your members and emailing it out a quarter. Engage their excitement, engage their interest, engage what's happening with them in their lives this year. School just started. So what's important to them right now? Okay. You can always finish this later, but just a fun example. Market research is like having magic at your fingertips, because the more you know about your customer, the better you'll be able to create content, market to them, and honestly create products that they need and they love on. And the more you'll grow, and the more they'll grow, and then the more you'll grow again. That's magic. Number 4, the last part of the M.O.R.E framework is expansion. Let's expand, everybody. So it's not just about growing your member base. Obviously, that's important, but it's also about thinking about the offerings that you have. Maybe through your market research, you realize that you're not growing because people aren't understanding what you're even offering, or you're not growing because there are new things that you could be creating and crafting and expanding upon to really serve your members better. New products, new services. Maybe it's a new branch. Maybe there's a mini branch in the city that you're in that you could open another one, mini or otherwise, that can really serve people in that very hyper pigmented or segmented segment within your city. Because reaching members where they are is the best experience for them. So how do you expand the most effectively? Number 1, obviously expanding your membership base. It's obviously the most direct way to grow, but the way to do that is by targeting them specifically. So maybe there are people in demographics that you don't target yet, but you could, and you could offer them something special and new just for them. I want to urge you to develop products and services that are tailored to their needs, not just what you think their needs are. It's like if you've ever seen the movie Pretty Woman, and she goes shopping in the movie, and she goes into a very high-end store, and she wants to buy something, and she has the means to buy it, but they turn her away because she doesn't look like she has the means to buy it. And then later she goes back in that store with a nicer outfit and blows everyone away. Make sure you do your research and you really love on your members so that you know really what they need, because it could be very different from what you think that they need. So maybe it's student loan refinancing, first-time home buyer programs, or banking experiences that are digital first. Because again, people are going to be on their phones first and foremost. So maybe your credit union primarily serves older members, and maybe that's where you are, and that's fine. But there could be a huge market of millennials or Gen Zs or younger that you could target with new products or services that you have. And partnering with universities, with other organizations that really support those younger markets can really serve you. So big thing here, it's about them. It's not about you. So besides just growing your member base, diversifying your service offerings, your products are here really to serve you, because the more needs that you find, the more products that you can serve people with. So throughout your market research, you can really learn about that. And by introducing new products, no matter what they are, you want to make sure that they align with your members' values, because that will align with your values and how you can serve your community better. And honestly, maybe entering a new market is exactly the type of risk that you've been thinking about or toying about. We're ending a new year. Maybe this is a big 2025, 2026 goal for you and your credit union, but it could really reap benefits if you could reach people where they are. Even if it's just one moment away, a few miles down the road, offer something that can really serve those people, because targeting people where they are, targeting different professionals, young professionals, targeting other humans can really, really support you. And then lastly, just enhance your digital capabilities. So maybe you've had the same website for the last 5, 10 years. It's time. Make it a more user-friendly experience for them. Maybe there's mobile check deposit and you don't have that yet. Maybe you don't have an app yet. Maybe there's different payment methods that you can support people with. Think about that broader audience that you can really market to and you can really bring in because you have that better user experience, especially digitally. A quick last example is finding the right partners can really support you and moving forward. So let's say you are partnering with local businesses and you're going to co-brand something amazing. You're going to co-brand a product. You realize that it's actually a win-win because the business that you chose supports your mission and your members' mission and your own mission. So you not only saw increase in new members, the other business found increase in people in the same community, and you're able to partner on future projects, events, and the like. And that really gauges that loyalty, that trust, that accountability, so that you have those long-term members. So using the M.O.R.E framework is more than just metrics, online presence, research, and expansion. It really is to support you in building that growth, really supporting your membership, and creating marketing that lasts, that will really build an impact for your community and for your members. Because credit unions are different, and so your marketing should be different too. In marketing, there are no guarantees, but there's always a game plan. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciated being here today. I love loving on people, especially in the marketing realm. So thank you very, very much. And I'm going to hand it over to Greg to close us out.
Great presentation, Kelly. I can tell from the comments and all the questions that we have that people got a lot out of it for sure. And we've got several questions, so let's get to them here while we have time. Anne asks first, do you think that your strategies depend on demographics and culture, or should depend on demographics and culture?
I mean, I do. I think in every aspect of anything that you're building in your credit union or your business should depend on who you're marketing to, who those products are actually being sold to. So I think regardless of the demographic, whether it's, 18 to 20-year-old females that are starting a new business or 45 to 55 men that are learning to really want to retire early, all of your products and all of your messaging should dictate to them, because then they feel loved and they feel like you get them, and that will add to that trust factor that they'll want to stay with the credit union longer.
And I would assume research goes into that too,
Oh, yeah.
knowing who they are, what they want, right?
Exactly. Because if you don't know, it's similar to sitting in that car, hitting the same button over and over, hoping that it's just going to work. There's no hope or luck in marketing. Marketing is really knowing your people and then taking that action to really serve them in the best way.
Renee asks, how do you suggest we navigate the desire to participate in trends when they may conflict with the desired brand identity? I know we talk about that here a lot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's fun, right? We live in a digital age. Everyone's doing fun TikTok dances, or everyone's, lip syncing over something fun. I think in my experience, if it doesn't feel right and it doesn't align to your mission or your values, don't do it. But maybe there's a way that you could tailor it. I wish I had a really good example that I could say you could do it from this to this that could really serve your community differently. But maybe you've been seeing those trends where, it's the divers from the Olympics that are going into the water. And then at the end, the last clip is someone like dunking a chicken nugget in that has nothing to do with the Olympics, but it makes total sense for Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever your business is that's selling those chicken nuggets. And it's showing a trend while also kind of making fun of something, which is within their own brand. And that really helps their brand mission. But that's also within their goals and within their mission and their values. So number one, don't ever go outside your values. I don't care what the trend is. I'm just going to say that as a marketer. But if there's a way to use it, I say absolutely, because it could be fun. It could be a way to really engage people within even just your team to do something fun, and then also serve people in a different way.
Locks asks, I agree marketing is really important to a credit union. My questions are how to do a marketing strategy when the company has a limited funding available, and which one is more effective and efficient between doing marketing through social media platforms or traditional ways like flyers, radio ads, face-to-face communications.
Yeah, I would be so interested to honestly sit down and talk about your exact demographic, what city you're exactly in. Um, I would suggest doing a mix of both. Maybe you don't do radio anymore because people are now listening to Spotify or listening to Apple Music more, and you don't want to pay for those types of ads. But maybe you throw some money and advertising dollars into that local social media market or those localized SEO efforts in your website so that the local people know that you're there and they can find you. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you could do kind of a mixture of both because you have different personalities within your credit union, and doing those marketing research items, like I suggested, you'll know really where these people are hanging out. And if they're hanging out on Instagram, amazing. Then start organically marketing on Instagram. If they're hanging out on TikTok, okay, let's rebuild the strategy around that. If they're still walking around downtown and they'd rather get a flyer in their mailbox, amazing. And that's really about knowing your customers really well and how to serve them the best. But there are ways that you can organically market with a very little budget. And so I wouldn't put money into advertising if you don't have it, but there's strategic ways that you can market without spending a dime.
Lauren asks, how do you calculate your ROI if your primary marketing channel is email and posts on LinkedIn?
That's a great question. So what are your call to actions? So let's say in email, you can get that you can figure out what your cost per click is, and you can also figure out those kind of who is moving forward. So it's kind of the same as an ROI on a website, but let's say you have a newsletter and the top header is what's new in the credit union, and then you have your products going down the list of what you're selling or what you're really showing people. You can calculate how many people are opening the email compared to how many people are clicking on things in the email. And let's say they're clicking on a brand new workshop that you're dropping, then you can put all of the people that are clicking on that into a different bucket and market just to them. Because then those people will be interested in what that workshop's about, and you'll know that. That's kind of a mini part of market research, especially in email. I'm a big email fan. But if you have those people in a bucket, then you can serve them better. You can really talk to them differently instead of just the mass, hi, everybody. It's hey, Kelly, I know that you're really interested in saving for your future. These are all of the products that we have for you. If you want to come in and talk to our teller, Greg, come on in. And you can kind of serve them in a more specific way. But there are numbers, especially email. And then when it comes to LinkedIn, it's kind of similar. You can see how many people view, especially an article, if you're putting out articles, but you can gauge how many people are actually clicking through that via your Google Analytics or just analytics that is provided to you. You can't see specifically who those people are, but the important part is if people are moving and grooving, keep offering things like that and test that for a while.
We're coming up to the top of the hour here, but one more question, and then we'll close here. How can Vinod asks from Trinidad and Tobago, how can disruptive strategy and blue ocean be applied to this framework? I don't understand that question, but maybe you do.
I don't. I wish I do.
Okay.
Please email me because I actually want to know more about this. So email me at kelly@fuzetheagency.com because I would love to actually do more research and answer that. Yes, I would love to. Apologies, I don't have an answer for that right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't either. But thanks for the question, and please do
Yes,
email
thank you.
Kelly if you get the chance, Vinod. Kelly, thank you so much again. Great presentation. I know a lot of people got a lot out of it, and we want to tell people if you like this webinar, you want to watch it again, or you want other colleagues to see it, you can refer them to the World Council YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/WOCCU. It's going to be available there later today. And I have to mention, if you want to participate in other great educational sessions in person, it's not too early to get ready for the 2025 World Credit Union Conference. We'll be hosting it in beautiful Stockholm, Sweden next year from July 14th to the 16th. Simply scan the QR code on your screen right now to sign up for the latest information for WCUC 2025. If you don't have your phone handy, you can head to wcuc.org/Stockholm. We'd all love to see you there next summer. That's it for today's webinar. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and have a great rest of your Wednesday.